This redraw is 1 month apart. So how did I learn to draw faces? Believe it or not, it only took 3 hours and 1 sheet of study notes. This is how I did it. First, understand the difference between drawing for accuracy versus drawing with the underlying structure. When drawing from real life, a pro tip or technique people use is using a grid. By placing a grid, you are using a reference line to know where each point is and where each angle is. If you get really good at drawing this way, you can do this without a grid, measuring angles and proportions with your intuition. This is not how you want to draw when copy studying these artists. If you use this technique when drawing, you are training your muscle memory and accuracy, but you are not training your brain to think in 3D. Drawing like this will not allow you to rotate things to match the surrounding perspective, and drawing like this will not allow you to draw heads in different rotations. This is the goal, not drawing for accuracy, but overall proportions at different angles. When picking your favorite artist to study from, try and find similar angles and group them all. I want to learn the 3/4 view, so I look for that angle, whether from above or below. Now examine how you draw. No matter what, I draw the sphere first, then I mark the tallest part of the eyes. Different people start from different shapes, but I usually start from the eyes, then place everything else. So the eyes will always be my starting points when studying from these paintings. I curve this line around the sphere when appropriate, but where do I put these lines? Lower than halfway on the sphere based on these reference images. The vertical line is the center point between the eyes, but not the point to place the nose. When you draw from scratch, you need to memorize these relationships or tips you learn from your study. You are doing 2 things in this study. One is that when drawing from these different but similar angles together, you start to recognize patterns between even completely different artists. The nose is always closer to the furthest eye. When looking from above, the nose is lower on the face than looking from below. The mouth is closer to the nose than the bottom of the chin. Now write what you notice and learn when they come to you. 2. By drawing how you already do general structure and visualize 3D space, you already have starting point and technique to draw from when you start from scratch next time. If I were to use a different technique, like starting the drawing from a cube, though it is possible and has the same use, it will be harder for me to remember these relationships between the places to put certain parts of the face and angles. But if you already visualize and use the technique of starting from a cube or more, do it. What is the relationship of the hair to the sphere you built? Is it completely on top of the sphere, or does it extend outwards because you want the hair to have volume? To use these notes in actual practice, I think of these notes while I'm drawing as a checklist. When I draw the nose, I check if it's closer to the furthest eye and so forth. I also take notes of what errors I constantly make as well. For me, I always have to shift the eye closer to the viewer, so when I draw the eye, I am constantly double checking that area. What is the relationship between the neck and the chin? The back line of the neck usually lands around the same place near the ear. Does the ear always match the eye line? No, it follows the curve around the sphere. What about the angle of the chin? The chin does not always connect to the ear. Where does the cheek curve start? The cheek curve starts below the bottom of the eye. After all these sketches, not even full accurate drawings, I immediately fixed my previous doodle from this to this. So much better. I start with my sphere, eyeline, and middle points. The nose is closer to the further eye. All of these understandings of these 3 hours are used. Of course, if your style is closer to realism, like Ask, study human anatomy so that you can get the planes of the face. But let's be real, anime faces are not human faces. Other parts of the body are another story, but faces are different. There are some inferences, but as someone who studied anatomy for non-art related reasons, knowing where the mandibular condyle is useless for anime, because in anime, when the mouth moves, the jaw doesn't move along with it. Hot take, but this knowledge is not transferable to anime faces. When you learn to draw a skull in all different angles, it's very impressive and you're training muscle memory, but you are learning to draw a skull, not an anime face. Even if you are drawing realism, there is muscle above the skull anyways, other than at the bony prominences. I feel studying the bony prominences would be a better use of your time if your end goal is anime. That's why when you see people who usually draw realism draw anime, they usually copy another drawing 1 for 1 with no changes at all, or they try it and something looks vaguely off. Like with me in a lot of my drawings where something looks off. But I'm getting off topic now. Is this accurate to all of the artists I admire and study? No, because my end goal is to make similar and cute faces, not to copy their entire style. Even with completely different vibes and eyes, it still looks much better from how I started. One caveat is that you cannot extrapolate from these notes. If you want to draw another angle, do not use these notes. Like, if you want to draw full frontal, of course the nose will be at the middle line and not closer or further to one eye or the other. You need to make another study of these specific angles to actually draw these specific angles. But, of course, I think the 3/4 angle is a good start because if you actually pay attention, most artists use this angle as a go-to. Anyways, I'm addicted to drawing my old stuff now, and I'm sure in the future with this study method, I'll get even better at drawing faces and other parts of the body. I just wanted to show what worked for me. Also, this is not an invitation to critique my work unless I ask for it specifically, but this comment is what made me get my shit together out of spite, so thanks? To be honest, I didn't do this sooner because I thought it would take too long, and also procrastination, and also thinking that I could learn from osmosis. But the fact that MS Doom's thoughts matched mine kind of felt like a challenge. Like, you can't do this in less than a few months. I'll say it, spite is an excellent motivator. I'll even say that spite can make you better at art. Thank you, MF Doom. I made this whole video in 4 days as soon as I did the study, which is why my voice is hoarse because I am sick and I didn't want to wait to share it, because for some reason, I can't believe studying for 3 hours. It worked? Thanks for watching. See you.